The real answer is incompetently, messily, and with a lot of frustration.
Ask the Hosts, episode 37. I'm Joe.
I'm Félim.
I'm Gary.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Shane.
Hello, chaps. We've got a special guest this time. Shane, people may know you from Linux Lads, so thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on.
This isn't our announcement of Linux Lads joining the Late Night Linux family. It's more a case of we were drunk at Odd Camp and you said, I'd love to come on Ask the Host. And I said, sure, come on.
That's basically it, yeah.
It'll teach you to stay up until 3 a.m. drinking on a bench outside a hotel.
It will indeed. Anyway, the idea of this show is very simple. You send in your questions to us, show@askthehost.com, and we answer them. The catch is they can be about anything except Linux and open source. Before we get going, just to thank you to everyone who supports us with PayPal and Patreon. And remember that patrons get these episodes 2 weeks before everyone else. The first question then. Digital Fox asks, it's approaching bedtime and you shouldn't eat a whole meal, but you're still hungry. What food do you grab?
Cocoa Pops.
What, straight out the box or what?
Oh, no. Proper milk. Kids cereal. Yeah, I eat, inverted commas, sensible cereal in the morning, but this time of night, no, it's right the boxes of lovely stuff.
Well, I mean, we specified that I know I shouldn't be eating, which means that it's not just a ridiculous late night candy binge. I'm actually trying to be healthy, in which case, probably a banana. That's usually my go-to because it's about the right amount of calories to settle me down without going overboard. And also, who couldn't use a little bit more potassium? Toe cramps suck.
But then with the banana, do you not get a slow release of energy throughout the rest of the evening? Therefore, it just keeps you awake for longer? Or do you have it early enough that it doesn't matter?
I mean, my sleep cycle is not that easily affected in good ways or bad ways. It is what it very disreputably is, and that's all there is to it.
And if I look at the coffee machine past 3 p.m., that's me done. I'm not sleeping for the rest of the week.
I either just don't eat, or I'll just go to bed hungry, or I'll just actually eat something but then stay up for another hour. Because if I go to bed hungry, or if I go to bed with food in my belly, either way, it's bad.
Well, this is why I have 2 types of peanut butter in the house. I have smooth for spreading on toast when I want a proper snack, and crunchy for when I want to eat it out of the pot with a spoon, which is
Oh dear.
exactly this situation. It's late at night, I'm hungry, I don't want to have a full meal, I just want a little snack, so just a spoonful of peanut butter.
Wait, you actually put peanut butter on other things? I thought you just eat it out of the jar and that's it. That's what it's for.
No, I actually do have it on toast occasionally.
Hang on. So you have peanut butter and then you brush your teeth at some point close to that. That is disgusting.
Well, yeah, I do have to do it far enough in advance that I can, get all the peanut butter out of my teeth and stuff. Yeah, that can be problematic sometimes.
Do you help wash it down by gargling on orange juice while you're at it as well, yeah?
Not quite. I do actually sometimes put water in my mouth and swill that around and try and dislodge all the bits of peanut butter.
I think the only weird thing to me is that you're eating out of the jar the crunchy and spreading the smooth. Like, I would normally expect if somebody's going to have both, they do it the other way around. They eat the smooth out of the jar and put the crunchy on a proper sandwich, but...
I don't fuck with crunchy peanut butter. It's smooth or nothing.
No, you're wrong.
Now, see, I'm also used to that. That's also very normal.
Well, it just smooth is so much easier to spread, whereas crunchy, it just gets all clumped up and stuff. But it's much more satisfying to kind of crunch on when you're having it just out of the jar. But no, smooth is just easier to spread.
Yeah, I'm going to stick to my banana. Your late night peanut butter sounds like a bad idea, and you should feel bad about it.
Well, this is why I am a fat bastard. Yes, exactly. And why Shane is a skinny bastard, because you don't eat before bed, which is almost always a bad idea.
Yeah, exactly.
I've actually forgotten what we're actually talking about, but the local sort of veg place up the road from us, you can go up and they've got like a machine with peanuts in it, and then you can actually grind them into peanut butter in front of you, and then it comes out like a disgusting turd into a jar that you bring yourself, and that stuff could fix potholes. It is amazing, but yeah, I wouldn't see eating that before bed.
Well, the peanut butter that I eat is 100% peanuts.
Same.
It's got no palm oil or anything like that. It's more expensive, but I thought it's probably better for me.
And you have to break your arm stirring it because it separates.
Oh, yeah. It's like just pure oil on the top, and it actually has a sticker on it saying, stir before use.
I see you lads don't know the trick to the peanut butter, which is that you take the cap off of the jar and you microwave it for about 30 seconds to 1 minute. And then it's easy to stir. You put the cap back on, you're done.
Oh, okay.
I do not own a microwave.
What?
No.
Well, then I guess you can just put it in a pot of hot water on the stove like the caveman Joe.
Just walk to the nearest airport and put it near the radome. Jesus, do we have to think of everything for you, for fuck's sake?
Yeah, I've done the radome trick. That works.
Out of the five of us, I thought one of us, and it was you, was going to have done that, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm the former Navy guy who was an electronics technician. So out of all of us, I'm the most likely to have had access to high-powered radar and in a shenanigan-tolerant environment.
I tried really hard to think of if I had a go-to snack, but I don't. I just sort of open the fridge and then think of the thing that my kids are least likely to be annoyed that I've stolen out of it. So it varies massively. It could be a sausage roll. I might go in the cupboard and open one of those big fancy bags of crisps that are reserved for special occasions and pour a far too big a bowl full. I don't know if there's a go-to. I try and avoid anything too sugary, though. So there is that. So it's generally some kind of carby snack, which is probably also not a good thing to eat right before bed.
I mean, carby and sugary are basically, that's pretty much the same thing.
Well, okay, no processed refined sugar. Pastry doesn't count, I'm sure.
Okay, so I'm the only one doing that then. Screw you guys.
Well, I answered the banana because it felt like we were reaching after the you're trying to be healthy thing. But the flip side of that is, what if I'm not actually hungry, but I have horrible munchies late at night and I just can't resist? And for that, I have these things. I don't know if you have this brand on your side of the pond, but over here we've got a brand called Outshine. They're popsicles, sorta, except it's really just frozen fruit juice in a mold. It's lightly sweetened with cane sugar and, pulped fruit. And that's it. That's the only ingredients. They're 60 calories a pop. And so it does not feel like the worst thing in the world to, hammer down one pomegranate Outshine bar and maybe a mango Outshine bar and feel like I had a nice little treat.
My partner makes those for the baby.
Yeah, we used to make those for our kids when they were much younger also, but it's a whole lot easier just to head down to Food Line and grab a couple of Outshine bars. And for that matter, it's the pre-processing is a little hard if you want to make those in pomegranate.
Helga asks, what novels do you love and which ones do you hate? This is the part where I admit that I don't really read.
I'm in your book, Jay. I read something if we have to read it for a podcast. And that's about it. That tells you how long it's been since I read a book.
Yeah. Although I am currently listening to and very, very close to finishing Project Hail Mary.
Yeah, I've been meaning to read that. I don't read as much as I used to because, internet and fucking YouTube shorts has destroyed my attention span and just the general state of the world. I just can't enjoy things anymore. But I love hard sci-fi. I've been an avid reader since I was a kid. I used to read a book a week. I was an absolutely prolific reader. But lately, not so much. But hard sci-fi is my thing. So I absolutely love, if it's by Ian M. Banks, Arthur C. Clarke, The Expanse series. You've probably heard of that. If you listen to Linux Lads, you've heard me rave about The Expanse.
I watched 2 episodes of that and realised it was just boring space politics and gave up.
It is, yeah. But that's what's great about it.
The show and the books are very different. I would not recommend just giving up entirely because you didn't like the show. I loved the books. And I just couldn't even make it through 3/4 of an episode of that show. It's just all dark, poorly lit nonsense with nothing happening. And just, no thank you.
That's exactly why I enjoyed watching it, but I forgot that I rented the DVDs and I have them sitting there for ages and I have 4 seasons to go in it still.
Thing is, right, I tried to watch it twice. First time I was the same as everyone else. I was gave it 3 episodes. I went, nah, this isn't great. Then watched it a second time, got to the 6th episode of the first season and went, okay, it's clicking now. I like this.
Oh, it's fucking brilliant.
Then I became an absolute fucking mega fan of The Expanse and I read all the books and everything and I watched the entire show and I fucking love it. It's one of my favorite things ever. So I'd say give it a chance. Just give it the whole first season and I think you'll like it. Anyway, just to get to the hate part of this question, I can't really say I hate any novels, but with one exception. I mentioned Arthur C. Clarke. I loved Rendezvous with Rama. Absolutely amazing book. Really great. I think it's better than 2001 A Space Odyssey, to be honest. But Rama 2, there's 6 or 7 more Rama books after that. I read Rama 2. I was like, this is utter trash. I hate this so much. it was just a completely different tone, completely different character types in the second one. The first one, they're all just like normal, honest, hardworking people, and they just are scientists and astronauts, and they're just doing their job. But the second one, it introduces all this like celebrity and fame and like duplicitousness and all this bullshit that I didn't care about and I didn't want to read in a hard sci-fi novel. So yeah, Rendezvous with Rama. There are no other books. There's no sequels.
Agreed on those sequels to Rama being trash. I don't think 2001 was some of Clark's best work, honestly. My favorite novel of his by far was Songs from a Distant Earth. I don't know if you've ever read that one, but it is outstanding and I highly recommend it.
Okay. It's going on the list.
I'm also a big hard sci-fi fan. My all-time favorite would have to have been, Larry Niven's entire Known Space series. The best known example of that probably being the Ringworld novel, but he has an entire universe that's consistent amongst a lot of his short stories and novels, and I enjoy all of that greatly. Recently, for science fiction, I am just in absolute love with Martha Wells' Murderbot series. If you've never read those, strongly recommended.
Watch the TV show, though. So good.
The TV show is... I enjoyed it more on the first watch than I did on a rewatch, because on the first watch, I was just so happy to see Murderbot brought to the screen at all. And on the second watch, I was just angry with all the things that got tweaked to appeal to the normies and dumb it down. So, yeah.
That's just the angry sci-fi nerd in you coming out. Like, that's just what happens when something you love so much in the novel and then you see an adaptation of it and you're like, no, you got it wrong.
But it's not always. I mean, for example, The Lord of the Rings. I dearly loved The Lord of the Rings. Peter Jackson's movie adaptations were fantastic. They held all the way up with the source material, in my opinion. Fight Club was at least as good a movie as it was a novel. There are a lot of examples of, movie versions of original written works that were outstanding. And I just don't think this was one of them.
Actually, you mentioned Fight Club. Yeah, I'm a massive Chuck Palahniuk fan myself. I've read almost all his books.
Same.
I think my absolute favorite, though, is Survivor.
I really liked Choke. The film adaptation wasn't very good, but the book was really good.
Oh, the film was trash.
Yeah.
Because he directed it, I think, and it wasn't, it was certainly no David Fincher's Fight Club, was it?
Well, one is reminded of the difference between Lucas directing Star Wars and Lucas hiring a professional director for Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to hire help.
Yeah, I mean, another example of a great book being turned into an equally good movie is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, I think. Like, it's not quite the same thing, but both of them kind of stand on their own. But I think it depends which way around you do it, right? Like, I watched the movie first and then read the book. And I've done the same thing with Project Hail Mary. I thought it was a great movie. And now reading or listening to the book, I realized, okay, there's so much more detail in this. Whereas with The Martian, I did it the other way around. Andy Weir's first book and movie. I read the book or listened to the book and then watched the movie. Now, it left me a bit flat. Whereas I think if I'd done it the other way around, then I would have appreciated the film more than I do. So, yeah, I think it's like, if you want to enjoy both, your best bet is to generally watch the movie first and then read the book and, oh, wow, it's actually better. So I was like The Godfather as well. I watched the movie loads of times, then got around to reading it. And it's a very different book, but I don't know what it would have been like if I'd done it the other way around.
It's funny that you bring up the film adaptation of Fear and Loathing on the Road to Las Vegas, because I have to admit, I haven't gotten all the way through that. I only tried once, and I made it about a third of the way through and this is a bit of an embarrassing omission, but it's been almost 30 years, so I'm just going to be honest here. A friend came over to my place, and we decided that we were going to watch it while robo-tripping, as in, getting high on a massive, massive dose of dextromethorphan, the active ingredient in Robitussin. And that was a bad idea. You do not want to hit level 2 on dextromethorphan while watching Fear and Loathing on the Road to Las Vegas. It's a bad, bad time.
Well, a friend of mine decided to watch it on mushrooms and messaged me halfway through. Yeah, we had to turn it off. It was too freaky.
Okay, so moving back to the topic, stuff that we love. I mentioned, sci-fi, Murderbot, old school, Niven. What do I hate? I mean, hate is a little bit of a strong word, but I'm going to pick something that is widely loved and leaves me cold. Asimov's Foundation series just absolutely bores the shit out of me. It reads to me like Asimov had somehow managed to be chatting with a chatbot. all the way back in the 60s and just convince himself he'd done something amazing.
I take it you haven't seen the TV show, Jim.
Actually, I watched like the first 3 episodes of it, and it's easier to just passively sit through the nonsense in TV form than it is to actively read it in literature form, in my personal, not very appreciative opinion.
First season was all right. It was okay. It was like 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Then next season, absolute hot garbage. It was absolutely terrible. We got 2 episodes in and we're like, nope.
So I'm terrible at reading. I know how to read. I don't mean like that, you cheeky bastards. I know you're all saying that in your head, but I have a inner dialogue that if I'm reading a book, I almost have to direct the scene in my head, which means that I read incredibly slowly. And I get the same problem when I'm listening to a podcast where I don't know the people on it. I will have to identify their names. So I'll have to go, in my head, there's Jim speaking. Oh, there's Joe speaking. And, who's that? Oh, I'm not sure. Now I need to find it out. And then it goes on like that, and it's painful. So I don't, to be quite honest, read that often. But there was one series I loved, which is The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. I started reading that in uni when I was supposed to be studying and decided that, 10-book series, let's kick that off. It goes up to 13. And we used to always make the joke that the fucker's going to die before he finishes it. The fucker died before he finished it, but thankfully he had somebody step in and fix it. I've still not read those last 3 books because I'm terrible at reading books, as I've said. And I don't know. Do I want to finish it? It's a series that apparently finishes well, but, can I even remember all the characters at this point? But Amazon did a TV series of the fucking thing. And then after series 3 cancelled the damn thing. And it was actually quite good. It was definitely designed for normals to sort of kind of catch up to it and stuff, and you could see how they changed bits, but I thought it was actually really good the way they'd done it. So it was a bit painful.
I had a similar experience to what you were talking about with it just being an absolute slog because you kept like flipping back and forth to figure out what character was which. With a particular series, Anne Leckie has a series about an imperial culture called the Radchai. And the first book in the series was incredibly frustrating for me for about the first 2/3 of the way through, because the Radchai don't give a shit about gender outside any context other than like marriage and mating. They've all had body modification to the point that they all tend to kind of look the same anyway. They're all big, strong, and muscular. And, like the old jokes about dwarves and nobody knows what's under the beard, and even the dwarves don't know unless, it seems relevant. That's how the Radchai operate. And so Leckie's primary character in the book isn't a Radchai itself, but it's a sentient computer that was designed by the Radchai. And so it really absolutely does not care at all about the gender of any human to the point that it doesn't note it. Since you're getting everything from the computer's perspective, it doesn't use gendered pronouns. It just says names, and none of the names are Christian names that we recognize like, a thing. So for like the first 2/3 of the book, I'm frantically flipping back and forth looking for like one of the barbarian characters to have addressed that character, because the barbarians will address them by gender every time because the barbarians care. Then like 2/3 of the way through the book, something finally clicked in my head. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I don't have to care either. I'm not going to date any of these characters. It doesn't matter. And all of a sudden, that also helped me like understand like how to interact in the real world with transgender folks better. And like, I thought that was really cool, honestly.
I'm going to be controversial and say I hate Lord of the Rings. I like Lord of the Rings, but I cannot stand reading Lord of the Rings. Oh, go on. Let's go traveling and then talk about the history of like it was a fucking book by a language professor. Fuck that guy. No thanks.
Tom Bombadil. That's all I'll say.
Oh, fuck right off.
Yeah, I was about to say you're not ready for 3 chapters of Tom Bombadil sing along.
Fucking Fear and Loathing in fucking the Shire is what that is.
The worst fucking guy at any party in the 90s was the dude who shows up with an acoustic guitar and wants to play fucking Tom Bombadil jams for the next hour and a half. And I met at least 4 of those guys in the 90s.